Welcome back to the channel where we talk about rare coins, rarest coins, hidden treasures, and the fascinating stories behind the change in your pocket. In today's video, we're exploring a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but has stunned collectors around the world. We're talking about the 1966 Washington quarter and the unbelievable reports of one version of this coin being worth as much as $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple quarter from 1966 possibly worth nearly $2 million. Is this just hype? Or is there truth to the story? Stick with me, because we're diving deep into the history of this coin, why it's special, what to look for, and how one rare error might have turned this everyday coin into a record-breaking piece of American numismatic history. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The coin features a left-facing profile of Washington on the obverse, and from 1932 through 1998, the reverse showed a majestic eagle with its wings outstretched. This design became a symbol of American currency and was struck in millions of examples each year. Now let's focus on the year 1966. This was a very unusual and transitional time for American coinage. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint made a major change. It stopped using silver in dimes and quarters. Before that, all quarters were 90% silver. But starting in 1965, quarters were made with a copper-nickel clad composition, with a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. This change was made because of rising silver prices and a national coin shortage. That makes the 1966 quarter one of the earliest examples of the new clad coinage. Because of the transition away from silver, the Mint made another important decision. In 1965, 1966, and 1967, no mint marks were used on quarters, dimes, or half dollars. So, even though the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all producing coins, none of them included a mint mark. That means if you find a 1966 quarter, you won't see a D, S, or P on it, just the date and design. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during the transition. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Most 1966 quarters are only worth face value if they're worn, and maybe a few dollars if they're in uncirculated condition. But a small handful of examples have turned up over the years with unusual features, and one of them has gained legendary status for possibly being the rarest and most valuable modern quarter ever discovered. According to reports from collectors and numismatic researchers, a specific 1966 quarter was found with a dramatic mint error that may have involved it being struck on a leftover silver planchet from 1964 or earlier. In other words, instead of being made of the standard copper-nickel clad, this rare coin was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet that was left over in the mint's inventory. If true, that would make this a transitional error coin, and these are some of the most sought-after errors in all of coin collecting. Now, combine that rare composition error with pristine condition. I'm talking about an MS68 or higher grade, nearly perfect with full details and no damage, and you've got something extremely rare. In fact, only one example like this is believed to exist in such high condition, which is why it has reportedly been valued or sold in a private transaction for up to $1.9 million. Think about that. A coin that most people would overlook could actually be a unique mistake from the US Mint, struck on the wrong metal, in a year when no mint marks were used, and preserved in near-perfect shape for nearly 60 years. That's the kind of combination that makes a coin go from pocket change to a seven-figure collectible. Oh, what should you be looking for when you check your 1966 quarters? First, look for anything unusual in the color and sound. Silver quarters have a different ring when dropped on a hard surface, a high-pitched sound compared to the duller clank of copper-nickel coins. You can also check the edge of the coin. Most clad quarters will show a distinct copper line along the edge. If your 1966 quarter has no copper color on the edge, it might be silver. If you think it could be, that's your cue to get it weighed. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams, while a clad quarter is slightly lighter, around 5.67 grams. Next, check the condition. Even if you don't have a silver planchet error, a 1966 quarter in high mint state, we're talking MS66, MS67, or higher, can be worth good money. Some examples have sold at auction for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on grade and eye appeal. Quarters with full details, strong luster, and no wear or marks are always more valuable to collectors. If you find something that seems unusual, whether it's a weight difference, a missing clad layer, doubling on the design, or just an overall pristine coin, your next step should be professional authentication. Submit the coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. If the coin turns out to be a genuine error or a high-grade rarity, it could be worth far more than you think. Let's take a look at the range of values. A circulated 1966 quarter is still worth face value. In mint state condition, it might bring in $5 to $20, depending on grade. A really high-grade specimen, like MS-67 or MS-68, can fetch hundreds to thousands. But a genuine error, such as a silver planchet or a double strike in mint state, can be worth tens of thousands, or in the legendary case we've discussed today, up to $1.9 million. This story is a reminder of why coin collecting is so exciting. It shows that you don't always have to go looking for ancient gold coins or rare colonial currency. Sometimes the most valuable finds are hiding in plain sight, in a jar of change or an old box in the attic. All it takes is a sharp eye and a little bit of knowledge. So, before you spend that old quarter, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of American history, and maybe, just maybe, a coin worth nearly $2 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, coin values, and the stories behind them, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a future upload. And if you've ever found a rare or unusual coin in your change, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a version with visual suggestions, timestamps, or segment titles for video editing. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of coins, currency, and hidden treasures that might be sitting right in your pocket or change jar. Today we're going to talk about a coin that most people have seen thousands of times in their lives, but very few know could be hiding a secret worth a fortune. That coin is the 1993 D Washington quarter. And yes, you heard that right. There's a version of this coin that has reportedly sold for as much as $1.4 million. How is that even possible? How can a modern quarter, something minted just a few decades ago, be worth more than most homes? Today, we're diving into the history, value, and the jaw-dropping error that turned one of these everyday coins into one of the rarest and most valuable Washington quarters ever discovered. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, originally as a commemorative coin to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, and, for most of the 20th century, a majestic eagle on the reverse. This design stayed consistent until 1999 when the state quarters program began. So by 1993, the Washington quarter was still using that original eagle-back design that collectors now consider a classic. Now let's talk about the 1993 D specifically. The D Mint mark means this quarter was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1993, the Denver Mint produced over 600 million quarters. That means this coin is not rare in the traditional sense. Most of them are still only worth face value, maybe a little more if they're in uncirculated condition. But as with many things in coin collecting, it's not always about how many were made. Sometimes it's about how one coin was made. And that brings us to the story of a truly incredible discovery, a 1993 D Washington quarter that was found with a combination of errors so rare and so dramatic that it turned into one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. According to sources in the numismatic world, this particular quarter was struck on a different metal planchet, possibly a leftover silver or experimental planchet that was never meant to be used for regular circulation. The error wasn't just in the metal. The coin also showed signs of a dramatic double strike, along with perfect centering and crisp details, all preserved in pristine mint state condition. Now imagine this. You have a coin that was struck on the wrong material. It was double struck with perfect alignment. It survived all these years without being damaged, scratched, or worn down. And it just happens to be from a year in mint that never officially produced quarters in silver or any special alloy. That kind of combination is the holy grail for collectors, a one-of-a-kind mistake that never should have left the mint, but somehow did. And here's where it gets even more interesting. That unique 1993 D quarter was reportedly graded by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC at an extremely high mint state level. We're talking MS-68 or even higher. That means it's almost flawless, with full details, full luster, and absolutely no wear. With rarity, condition, and demand all coming together, this coin ended up being valued in the range of $1.4 million. And according to collectors, it was eventually sold in a private transaction to a high-end buyer who simply had to have it. So what should you be looking for if you have a 1993 D quarter? First, look for the D Mint mark on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then examine the coin closely. Is there anything unusual about the color? Does it look silver when it should be copper nickel? Check the edge. Is there a copper line? Or does it appear solid and silver-colored all the way through? Also, check for signs of a double strike or other minting errors like off-center images, missing elements, or blurry letters. If you find something that looks odd or different, the next step is to weigh the coin. A standard clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs more or less than that, especially closer to 6.25 grams like the old silver quarters, you may have a planchet error. That alone could make it worth hundreds or thousands. Combine that with a minting mistake and you're really onto something. And let's talk about condition for a moment. Even if your coin doesn't have a rare error, a 1993 D quarter in mint state condition can still be worth something. Coins graded MS65 or higher can sell for $5 to $20. The higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. In MS67, the coin could be worth $100 or more. But when you get into MS68 territory, especially if there's an error involved, that's when you hit serious money. So, is it realistic to think that every 1993 D quarter could be worth a fortune? Of course not. The vast majority are still worth 25 cents. But the story of the million-dollar version reminds us that extraordinary coins still slip through the cracks. The US Mint produces billions of coins every year, and with that kind of volume, rare mistakes are bound to happen. It's just a matter of finding one. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what you'll find unless you look. That 1993 D quarter in your drawer could be completely ordinary, or it could be the next record-breaking discovery. Before we wrap up, here's a quick checklist of what to look for in your 1993 D quarters. Look for unusual metal color or shine. Check the coin's edge for a solid or silver-colored rim. Weigh the coin if you suspect it's on the wrong planchet. Look for double strikes, off-center images, or any strange minting features. Examine the coin's condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value, and if something seems off or unusual, send it to a grading service for authentication. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about rare coins, hidden mint errors, and the stories behind the most valuable change in America, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on notifications so you don't miss our next episode. And if you've ever found a rare or unusual coin in your change, tell us your story in the comments. You never know, the next million-dollar quarter might be hiding in someone's pocket right now. Until next time, keep checking your change, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a version with suggested visuals, on-screen text, or formatted for a teleprompter. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and hidden treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket. Today we're going to take a close look at a coin that's creating serious buzz in the collecting world. I'm talking about the 1995 D Washington quarter. You may have heard the rumors that one of these quarters sold or was valued at an unbelievable $1.3 million. And you might be wondering, is that even possible? Can a modern coin like this really be worth that much money? Well, get ready, because in this video we're breaking down the real history of the 1995 D quarter, what makes it unique, what to look for, and why this seemingly ordinary coin might be one of the most valuable modern quarters ever struck. So grab your change jar, and let's dive in. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. It was first introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The coin was originally intended as a one-year commemorative issue, but it became so popular that it was adopted as the standard design for the quarter. The obverse features the profile of George Washington, and the reverse for most of the 20th century showed a heraldic eagle with wings outstretched. This design remained in place until the 1999 launch of the 50-state quarters program. Now let's fast forward to 1995. That year, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters bearing the D Mint mark under Washington's neck. These were intended for circulation, and like most coins produced in high numbers, they weren't expected to have much value beyond their face. But as collectors know, it only takes one mistake at the mint to turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary find. The 1995 D quarter became famous when stories began to emerge about an incredibly rare and unusual specimen. This was not your typical quarter. According to reports, this particular coin featured a combination of mint errors so rare and so dramatic that it turned the coin into a one-of-a-kind piece. These errors are believed to include either a major off-center strike or a wrong planchet error, possibly even a double denomination strike, where the coin was struck over another coin entirely. Imagine a quarter that was struck on a dime planchet or one that was double struck with shifted images. These are the kinds of minting accidents that drive collectors wild, especially if the coin is in near-perfect condition. And that brings us to the condition of the coin. For a modern error coin to reach a value like $1.3 million, it can't just have a rare error. It also needs to be in exceptional condition. This particular 1995 D-quarter was reportedly graded in a very high mint state by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. We're talking about a grade of MS68 or even higher. At this level, the coin is virtually flawless under magnification with a sharp strike and brilliant luster. When you combine a dramatic mint error with an extremely high grade and extreme rarity, you get what collectors call a unicorn. A coin so rare and desirable that wealthy collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes to own it. And according to some sources, that's exactly what happened. The coin was said to have sold in a private transaction for as much as $1.3 million. While private sales are hard to verify and are not always recorded publicly, this figure has been widely discussed in the numismatic community and continues to fuel interest in the 1995 D-quartered SO. The big question is, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1995 D-quarter in your collection or pocket change? First, look for the D mint mark on the obverse side, just below the date. That confirms it was struck in Denver. Next, examine the coin closely under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. You're looking for anything that looks off. Is the design misaligned? Is the image doubled? Are parts of the lettering missing or blurred? Does the coin look smaller or thinner than usual? Does it feel lighter in weight? You should also pay attention to the condition of the coin. If your quarter has no scratches, no nicks, and retains its original luster, it may be in a high mint state. That alone could increase its value even without a dramatic error. But if you find one with a clear error in top condition, you may want to send it to a grading service immediately. The investment is small compared to the potential value if it turns out to be something rare. Now let's talk numbers. A regular 1995 D Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, you might get $1, maybe 2 or 3, depending on the grade. But error coins, especially those certified by PCGS or NGC, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And in the case of this rumored $1.3 million quarter, the value is driven by a perfect storm of error, rarity, condition, and demand. Some collectors believe that the coin was actually struck on a different metal planchet entirely, which is called a transitional error. Others believe it was a double denomination coin, meaning it was struck over a previously struck coin of another denomination. These types of coins are not just rare, they are nearly impossible to duplicate, and that's why they command such huge prices when one finally hits the market. So what's the lesson here? Never overlook your change. Rare coins are still out there. They're found in pocket change, estate sales, flea markets, and even old jars in people's kitchens. And sometimes what looks like an ordinary quarter can turn out to be a life-changing discovery. Before we wrap up, here's what you should do next. If you've got a 1995 D Washington quarter, check it carefully. If it looks unusual, or if it's in amazing condition, it might be worth sending in for authentication. Do your research. Compare your coin to known error types, and always handle rare coins by the edges to preserve their condition. And finally, don't assume that modern coins can't be valuable. Some of the most valuable coins ever sold have been minted in the last 50 years. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. We've got more stories about rare coins, valuable errors, and collectible treasures coming your way. And if you've ever found an unusual coin or think you might have something rare, let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your stories, and who knows, you might be sitting on the next $1 million coin. Until next time, keep checking your change, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a shortened version, voiceover-friendly format, or a version with visuals and segment titles for easier editing. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the hidden stories and shocking values behind everyday coins that might be worth far more than you ever imagined. In today's video, we're taking a look at a truly bizarre and fascinating coin that's left collectors stunned. It's the 1998 Lincoln penny. Yes, the 1-cent coin most of us have overlooked hundreds of times. But one specific version of this coin has been making headlines for reportedly being worth as much as $1.2 million. What makes the 1998 Lincoln cent so special? Why are collectors calling this one of the most mysterious and valuable pennies of the modern era? And how does the iconic wheat penny design from decades earlier come into play? Let's break it all down and explore the real story behind the 1998 Lincoln penny that's shaking up the coin world. First, a quick refresher on the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it replaced the Indian head penny that had been in circulation before it. From 1909 through 1958, the Lincoln cent had wheat ears on the reverse. These are the classic wheat pennies that collectors love to hunt for today. In 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the penny, the reverse design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design stayed in place until 2008, after which the coin went through several redesigns and then adopted the current Union Shield reverse in 2010. So what does that have to do with a penny from 1998? Here's where things get very interesting. In 1998, the U.S. Mint was still using the Lincoln Memorial design. These coins were made by the hundreds of millions at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them are still worth face value today, even in uncirculated condition. But somewhere along the line, something incredibly rare and unexpected happened. A very small number of 1998 pennies have surfaced with a reverse that doesn't match their time period. Instead of showing the Lincoln Memorial, these coins show the old-style wheat ears design that hadn't been used since 1958. This kind of coin is known as a mule, a coin struck using mismatched obverse and reverse dies from different designs or eras. Mules are among the rarest and most valuable types of mint errors, and they usually occur when dies from different coin types or years are mistakenly paired together during the minting process. In the case of the 1998 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the coin was struck with a 1998 obverse die, which includes the modern date and design, but somehow it was paired with a reverse die featuring the wheat ears that should have been retired 40 years earlier. Only one or two of these coins have ever been confirmed. That makes them not only rare, but possibly unique. When you add in the fact that the coin is in high-grade condition and authenticated by one of the major grading services, you're looking at a truly one-of-a-kind piece of U.S. coinage history. How did this even happen? Most likely, an old reverse die was mistakenly left in the mint's inventory and was accidentally installed during production. This sort of thing is almost unheard of, especially in the modern minting era, when quality control is much tighter than it was in the early 20th century. But as with all things mechanical, human error can happen, and sometimes that error results in $1 million coin. Let's talk about value for a moment. A regular 1998 penny is worth 1 cent in circulation. Even in uncirculated condition, most are worth less than $1. But this error coin, the 1998 Lincoln Wheat Penny Mule, is an entirely different story. Due to its extreme rarity, collectors and investors have placed its value at over $1.2 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin from the late 90s worth over $1 million. And what makes it even more unbelievable is that it could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change or a forgotten roll of pennies somewhere. So how would you know if you have one of these rare coins? Here's what to look for. First, check the date. You're looking for a 1998 Lincoln penny with no mint mark or a small D for Denver. Then flip the coin over and look at the reverse. If you see the familiar Lincoln Memorial, that's the standard design. But if you see the two wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent and United States of America, stop everything. You might be holding a wheat penny reverse that should not exist on a 1998 coin. Next, check the condition. If your coin has clear details, no scratches or damage, and still retains that mint luster, you could be looking at a high-grade specimen. That alone could increase the value substantially. Finally, if you even suspect that you found a mule or a major error, do not clean the coin and do not attempt to alter it in any way. Get it professionally authenticated and graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will examine the coin, certify it, and place it in a tamper-proof holder with its grade and authenticity listed. Coins like this don't come around often. In fact, this kind of mule error has been called one of the rarest of all U.S. modern coin errors. It combines historical mystery, minting anomaly, and collector demand, the three ingredients that often result in seven-figure values. What's the takeaway here? Don't ignore your pennies, especially the ones from the 1990s. While most may not be valuable, all it takes is one error coin, one mule, one misprint to change your life. These coins still turn up in circulation, in old rolls, in estate collections, or in junk drawers that haven't been touched in years. Before we wrap up, here's your checklist for the 1998 Lincoln penny. Check the date on the obverse. It should read 1998, flip it to the reverse. If it shows wheat ears instead of the Lincoln Memorial, take immediate action, check the weight. Standard 1998 pennies should weigh around 2.5 grams. Examine the coin's condition. The better the grade, the higher the value. If you suspect it's an error, get it authenticated by a reputable grading service. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, rare mint errors, and the stories behind the change in your pocket, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a future upload. And if you've ever found a rare penny or have a coin mystery of your own, drop it in the comments below. We love hearing your stories and helping you uncover what you might really have. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a shorter version or if you'd like this adapted for social media clips or a visual-based format. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the world of rare coins, minting mistakes, and the hidden treasures that could be lying unnoticed in your pocket, change jar, or old coin collection. Rarestcoins.in today's episode. We're taking a deep dive into a coin that's caused quite a stir in the numismatic world, the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1964 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny. One version of this coin has been valued at an unbelievable $1.9 million. That's right, a single penny, the kind most of us wouldn't think twice about, possibly worth nearly $2 million bucks. Oh, what's the story behind this coin? Why is the 1964 D. Wheat Penny so rare and valuable? And most importantly, how can you tell if you've got one of these ultra-rare coins sitting in your possession? Let's break it down. Understand the importance of the 1964 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny. We first need to go back a little bit in time. The Lincoln cent was first issued in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on the obverse. And from 1909 through 1958, the reverse of the coin featured the iconic wheat ears design, two curved stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. Then, in 1959, the U.S. Mint made a major change to the Lincoln cent. To celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the coin, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial. This design stayed in place for the next 50 years until it was changed again in 2009. Now here's the thing. According to official U.S. Mint records, the last year the wheat reverse design was produced was 1958. So technically, there should be no wheat pennies dated 1964. By that year, the Mint had already been striking the Lincoln Memorial reverse for 5 years. But somehow, a few examples of a 1964 D penny have turned up showing the wheat ears reverse, a design that should have been long retired. This has led to one of the biggest mysteries in U.S. coinage history. How did a wheat penny get struck with a 1964 date? Was it an accident? Was it intentional? Could it have been a test strike or even the result of someone working at the Mint pulling a prank? No matter how it happened, the fact remains that these coins should not exist. And that's exactly why collectors and experts have gone crazy over them. Now let's talk about the D Mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint, which produced a massive number of Lincoln cents in 1964, over 3 billion, in fact. But none of those were supposed to be wheat pennies. Which means if you have a coin dated 1964, D with a wheat reverse, you are holding something beyond rare. Some experts believe that a small batch of leftover wheat reverse dies may have accidentally been used during the 1964 production year. Others think these coins were struck unofficially and somehow made their way out of the Mint. There's even speculation that they may have been created as pattern coins, test pieces not meant for public release. Regardless of how it happened, the bottom line is this. There are extremely few of these coins known to exist. And when rare coins like this show up at auction, their value skyrockets. That's exactly what happened when a pristine, uncirculated 1964 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny was authenticated and graded at a high Mint state level, and then sold in a private transaction for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Let that sink in for a second. A coin that was never supposed to exist, struck at a time when the design was already retired, somehow ends up in the hands of a collector in nearly perfect condition. That's the kind of once-in-a-lifetime discovery that fuels the dreams of coin hunters everywhere. Oh, what should you be looking for? Start by checking any Lincoln pennies you come across from the 1960s. If you see the date 1964 with a small D Mint mark just below the year, take a close look at the reverse side. If the back of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, that's completely normal. That's the standard design. But if you flip the coin over and see the words 1 cent framed by 2 wheat ears, that's your red flag. You may be holding one of the rarest coins ever made by the U.S. Mint. Next, check the condition of the coin. A coin like this in circulated condition could still be worth thousands or tens of thousands. But a version in mint state, especially with a high grade like MS65 or higher, could easily reach 6 or even 7 figures at auction. Also, look out for weight differences, die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling. These kinds of mint errors can add even more value. But the biggest prize is the wheat reverse on a 1964 D, a design mismatch that simply wasn't supposed to happen. That if you think you found one of these, your next step should be professional authentication. Do not clean the coin. Do not alter it. And don't try to guess its value on your own. Send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, and let the experts confirm whether you've truly found the million-dollar penny. Even if you don't have the rare wheat reverse version, it's still worth checking your 1964 D pennies. Some are known to have other errors, like double die obverse, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. all of which can increase a coin's value significantly. But without question, the rarest and most valuable version is the one with the wheat ears reverse, the design that officially ended in 1958 but somehow made a secret return in 1964. This is a coin that bridges two eras of American coinage. It's part history, part mystery, and part miracle. Before we wrap up, here's your final checklist. Look for a penny dated 1964 D. Flip it over. If it shows the wheat ears reverse, it's extremely rare. Check the condition. The better the grade, the higher the value. Send it for authentication. Never assume value without a certified grading, and most of all, keep your eyes open, because treasures like this are still out there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the rarest pennies ever struck, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. We've got more incredible stories coming your way about rare coins, hidden errors, and shocking values found in everyday change. And if you've ever come across a strange or unusual coin, share your story in the comments below. You never know, your story might be the next one we feature right here. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into shorter social media clips, a version for a teleprompter, or if you'd like a thumbnail or title suggestion for your video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden stories behind everyday coins that could be worth a small fortune. Today we're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now. It looks like a regular quarter, but under the right conditions, and with the right error, it could be worth as much as $1.2 million. That's right, we're diving into the 1998 Washington quarter and the mystery behind how one of these coins became one of the most valuable modern quarters ever discovered. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. It was originally released to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it quickly became the standard design for the 25-cent piece. On the obverse, we see a left-facing portrait of Washington, and on the reverse, for decades, an eagle with outstretched wings. This design lasted all the way through 1998 before it was changed in 1999 with the launch of the State Quarters program. The 1998 P quarter holds an interesting place in history. It was the last of the original eagle-back Washington quarters before the entire design changed. That alone makes it special to collectors. The P Mint mark indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation. Most of them are worth only face value. But in rare cases, an unusual error or an extremely high-grade specimen can turn a common coin into something worth thousands, or in one extraordinary case, over $1 million. Let's talk about that case. According to various coin experts and collectors, there is a known 1998 P quarter with an extremely rare mint error that skyrocketed its value. This wasn't just any error. We're talking about a transitional error, where a coin was accidentally struck using a different die or planchet that wasn't meant for that year or design. Some reports suggest that a 1998 P quarter was struck using a reverse die intended for the 1999 state quarter, specifically the Delaware design. That would make it a mule, a coin with mismatched obverse and reverse dies. And that kind of error is incredibly rare. Another version of the story says that one of these quarters was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination altogether, like a Sacagawea dollar planchet, which wouldn't even be introduced until 2000. If a 1998 quarter was struck on a golden-colored dollar planchet, or even a foreign planchet, that would make it an extreme error and potentially one of a kind. Now combine that kind of rare minting mistake with near-perfect condition, and you've got a collector's dream. The coin in question was reportedly graded by a top-tier grading company like PCGS or NGC and received a grade of MS68 or higher. That means it's nearly flawless, with perfect strike, luster, and surfaces. When a coin like this shows up at auction or in private sale, the bidding can go absolutely insane. And in this case, it was said to have reached or been valued at $1.2 million. Let's be clear, this is not your average 1998 P quarter. Millions of them are out there, and most are worth 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples might be worth $1 or $2. But when you add in a rare error, unmatched by any other known examples, and a pristine mint state grade, you've got a coin that becomes priceless to the right buyer. What should you be looking for on your 1998 P quarters? First, check the mint mark. It will be on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. If you see a P, that means it came from Philadelphia. Now examine the reverse closely. Does it have the normal eagle design, or does something seem different? Does it look like it has a design from the State Quarters series? If so, you may have something very special. Also pay attention to the color and size of the coin. Does it look golden in color? Does it feel heavier or lighter than a regular quarter? These could be signs that the coin was struck on the wrong metal or the wrong planchet. Any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, weak details, or unusual textures on the coin can also be clues that you're holding an error coin. If you suspect that your quarter might be special, don't clean it. Don't alter it. And definitely don't spend it. Put it in a protective holder and take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it to a grading service. The small investment in getting it certified can make a huge difference in determining its value. Now let's take a quick look at what a regular 1998 P quarter is worth. In circulated condition, it's just face value. In uncirculated condition, maybe $1 to $3 depending on the grade. A proof version made for collectors, especially one in a proof set, can go for a little more. But unless there's an error or it's an exceptionally high grade, it's not going to be worth hundreds or thousands. However, a genuine error coin from this year with a unique die pairing or wrong planchet could go for thousands, tens of thousands, or, as we've seen, over $1 million. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand from collectors. Oh, what's the lesson here? Check your change. Every coin tells a story, and some of those stories can be worth a lot of money. The 1998 P. Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a modern coin can become a legendary collectible. Whether it's due to a rare mistake at the mint or simply being the last of its kind before a major design change, this quarter has captured the attention of collectors around the world. Before we wrap up, here's your checklist. Look for the P mint mark. Check the reverse for any unusual design elements. Inspect the coin for color, weight, and strike quality. And if you find anything out of the ordinary, get it checked out professionally. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about rare coins and hidden treasures in your everyday pocket change, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. And if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin, share your story in the comments below. You never know, the next $1 million coin might be hiding in your change jar right now. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for teleprompter use, broken down into shorter segments, or turned into a script with on-screen text and visual cue suggestions for editing.